welcome back to Sunshine in the Kitchen. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today I have two delicious things on the menu. For this video specifically, I'm going to be showing you how to make chicken noodle soup from scratch, and in another video I'm going to be showing the dessert, which is an apple pie from scratch. Well, I'm going to get right into it and show you the ingredients that you'll be needing. Alrighty, so as far as the veggies go, I got about 7 stalks of celery. I have 6 carrots. Me and my family like a lot of veggies in our chicken noodle soup, so that's the amount that I'm using. But if you don't like carrots, you can use less, or you can just fix the ingredients to your liking. I'm also going to be using about half of a large onion, maybe a smidge more, but for sure about half. And then I'm going to be using a little bit of garlic, and just to save time, I have some minced up garlic in here. And that's it for the ingredients. So my celery is pretty thin. Usually if it's a little bit wider, I would suggest cutting it down the middle and then cutting your little slithers so that way your chunks aren't too big. But this is pretty slim, so I'm just going to work with this. And this is all I do. So as you can see, I have them in little bite-sized pieces like so. Alrighty, so for my carrots, what I do is I just cut the small end, just regular, into little circles. But as you see, it gets a lot bigger the more you go up the carrot. So when it comes down to this side, I usually cut the carrot in half, sometimes even into fourths, just so my pieces aren't too big. I'll show you what I mean. So all those carrot sizes are perfectly fine, but right here these circles are just a little too big, so I'm just going to cut them in half. And then you could even get your carrot and just cut your carrot right in half. And that way it's a little bit easier to work with, and then you can just make your bite-sized pieces from there. Just like so. Alrighty, so as far as my onion, I'm going to use about half. Let's see. So I cut this in half. I see that this is the slightly bigger side. I'm going to use the slightly bigger side because onion just adds so much good flavor when it comes to cooking any soup. So for my onion, I'm just going to do a rough dice. So I'm just going to do some slithers. So we'll do that for now, and then I'll just go like so, and we're just going to rough chop this. Push that to the side, and then same for here. I'm just going to Then I'm going to get my knife, and I'm just going to run through it a couple times. Alrighty, so now it's time for our chicken. I've made chicken noodle soup a few times, and before I used to cut up the chicken prior to cooking it, and there's 2 reasons why I don't like to do that anymore. The first reason is it's not the easiest thing to cut raw chicken into your bite-sized preference. It has a texture that's pretty tough to work with. It's a lot easier to work with it once it's cooked. I noticed whenever I would cut it into little cubes and then cook it, it would be really tough and dry. I noticed the chicken's more moist when you cook it as a whole like this and then cut it into your desired pieces afterwards. So that's what I like to do. I just like to remove any extra fat like that. So usually it's on the side, and I'll just take that off and scoot it to the side. It's in a nice butterfly for me already. However, it's a little bit uneven. So what I usually like to do is in the really thick parts, I add little slices so that way the heat can get through there. And and that way this part won't be raw and this part will be cooked. It'll all be nice and cooked. And also to ensure that, I not only make the slices, but I like to give it a little bit of a hammer just to help thin it out a little bit. And I'm going to cut that butterfly in half. So that way I just have 2 nice chicken breasts to work with. I'm going to flip it on the other side, and where it's really thick, I'm going to give it some slices again, and I'm going to hit it down again. Same with this side, some slices, and then I'm just going to hammer it out. So now it's all nice and even in size. It's not too thick, not too thin, and it's just perfect for me to work with. Okay, so now it's time to season my chicken, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grate some black pepper on top. I'm going to add some garlic powder. And make sure you're using garlic powder. If you use garlic salt, that's fine, but just make sure you don't add salt on top of the garlic salt. That's why I like to use garlic powder and then salt separately. So a nice even layer of that. And then I'm going to be adding my salt. Pat that in, and then I'm going to flip it to the other side. And we're going to do the same thing with some ground up black pepper, some garlic powder, and some more salt. Just like that. So to my lovely Dutch oven, I'm going to be adding about a tablespoon or about 2 tablespoons of some olive oil. And I'm going to be adding my chicken side by side in the pot. I have my flame on medium heat. Alright, so this is the chicken after I flipped it. As you can see, we got some great color happening. I'm just going to let it cook about 4 minutes on this side. It cooked for about 5 minutes already on the other side, and then I'll pull out the chicken. There is still a little bit of olive oil left on the bottom of my pot. So I'm just adding all the veggies right on into my Dutch oven pot. And with the wooden spoon, I'm just going to go ahead and scrape off any of the little brown bits that were left behind from the chicken, because that's just going to add extra flavor to your soup. And I really like cooking the veggies in the same pot that I cook the chicken in, because you get all of that chicken flavor incorporated into your veggies. I also want to let you guys know that I added about 3 more stalks of celery. After I chopped up all the veggies, it just looked like it needed more celery. So I went ahead and did that. I'm also going to season with some more black pepper. And about 2 teaspoons of salt. Just going to mix that around. Next, I'm going to be adding about 3 cloves of garlic minced. However, I already have it minced in this nice little jar. So it's going to be about 2 teaspoons worth. And I'm just going to allow the fragrance to come up, and just by smelling it, I'll decide if I want to add a little bit more. And you're just going to let these veggies cook till you start seeing the onions get a nice translucent color. They're gonna get a light golden brown, and then we'll go from there. Alrighty, so it looks like all of my onions are nice and translucent and my veggies are starting to cook down. So I went ahead and cut up all of my chicken to my bite-sized preference. I'm going to add that back in. And to the pot, I'm going to be adding 2 cartons of chicken stock. You can go ahead and make your own, more power to you, but I'm taking a little bit of a shortcut. And honestly, I love getting chicken stock in the carton. I think it tastes so good. So I'm going to go ahead and be adding 2 of these. And I'm now going to be turning the temperature to high, and I'm going to bring this up to a boil. And I'm also going to be adding 1 cup of water. Give it a nice little stir. Alrighty, so I'm just waiting for this to come up to a boil. I'm going to be adding more salt because I tasted it and it definitely needs more salt. So you can season to your preference. I'm also going to be using 1 dried up bay leaf. Well, depending how big it is, let's see. So I went ahead and used 2 because they're not too big. And this just kind of warms up the soup, and I really like to add it when I'm making any kind of chicken soup. I'm also going to be adding 2 teaspoons of caldo de pollo. It's like a chicken bouillon, and I just think this amps up the chicken flavor. And then we're going to give that a stir. Alrighty, so the soup has come up to a boil. You can use any type of pasta noodles that you would like. If you like your chicken noodle soup with fettuccine noodles, spaghetti noodles, rigatoni noodles, literally any noodles that you'd like. Personally, me and my family, we like the extra wide egg noodles. And this is more of a traditional noodle for chicken noodle soup. And I kind of eyeball how much I want. This is a pretty big bag of pasta noodles, so I'm going to be adding a handful at a time to see how much I need. So let me go ahead and take off the pot lid. And let's see, I think I'll start with this is about a half a bag. Also, this is the time that you'll be taking out your bay leaves. So let's see. Surprisingly, I actually added just about the whole bag. As I kept stirring it, I just felt like it just needed a little bit more and a little bit more, and all I ended up left with was just this amount. For some reason, to me, I feel like if I added this last bit, it would be just a little bit too much. So I'm just going to go ahead and tie this up, and I'm going to save this for another time that I'm making soup. If I felt towards the end that it needed just that little bit of extra noodles, then what I would do is in a small little pot with just some water, I would go ahead and cook these. and then I would drain out the water and add the extra noodles if I needed it. I'd rather have a little bit less in this pot and add more to it later if I needed to than have too much in this pot and have to take some out. It would just be too much. So I'm good with this amount for now. I think that it's perfect, but like I said, if I needed to add more later, I would just do it on the side. Now I'm just gonna wait till the noodles are done cooking, and then we're gonna be finished. Alrighty, you guys, it looks and smells and tastes, because I had to give it a little bit of a sample. So amazing. It is so perfect for this cold day. I cannot wait to indulge in this. My family's gonna be super happy. So next what I'm gonna do is just brighten up a little bit of the flavors. I like to add a good squeeze of lemon. I like to use about half a lemon. And give that a good little squeeze and mix that all around. And dinner is ready. Alrighty guys, so here is my chicken noodle soup. I'm just gonna serve it up in my bowl here. And get some of that tasty broth in the bowl. And dinner is served. Alrighty guys, so now it's time for my favorite part of every video, the taste test. Well, here we go. Guys, this is so delicious. This makes my heart happy. Anyone you make this for is going to feel super loved. You can even make it as a really cute gift and put it in a mason jar, tie a little ribbon around the jar, and give it to someone. It just makes someone feel so loved and cozy. I gotta hurry up and get inside because it's actually starting to rain. I'm not sure if my camera's picking it up, but it's actually sprinkling right now, so it's perfect to go inside and eat my soup. Well, thank you so much for watching, guys. It was a pleasure cooking for you. Make sure you go ahead and check out my apple pie recipe so you can enjoy some dessert after you eat your chicken noodle soup. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe if you aren't already, and leave some comments down below. Bye everyone, God bless, from my kitchen to yours.